Seiha is nothing but a walking cheat code who somehow ended up as the strongest kid in school, but all he wants is to be normal and just chill. Except monsters keep invading, explosions keep happening, and his so-called friends keep dragging him into battles like it's his job. While other kids worry about tests, this guy's biggest problem is accidentally flexing his overpowered skills and getting dragged into battles he never signed up for. The scene opens with a countdown timer on some sketchy device that looks like it's a world-ending device. Suddenly, the man who set this up releases his energy, creating a giant purple orb behind him. The thing sucks the guy into the light like a vacuum cleaning up a mess, and just like that, he's gone. The scene shifts to a futuristic city filled with tall buildings, bright spotlights, and a sky full of stars. Meanwhile, in a grand hall, a guy is giving a speech, but nobody cares. He's been yapping for too long about how long ago the four nations lived together in harmony. Then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Hold up, this isn't Avatar. The boring bro was telling them about how 18 years ago, humanity got smacked in the face by monstrous beasts from another dimension. Back then, humans were as defenseless as a toddler in a boxing ring, and their technology was as useless as a flip phone in 2024.
What'd I do?
But in their darkest moment, a ray of hope appeared. Unfortunately, the audience is too busy checking their watches to care. The speaker, Solby Lee, drones on while the audience, some are nodding off, others are scrolling through their phones. The story then moves to the formation of the Black Lambs. The sky is clear, but one guy's attitude is cloudy. The game master, Seiha, walks along a path while playing a console game. A girl gets up and stands in his way, but he's so into the game that he ignores everything around him, including his supposed leader, Sully the Clown, who introduces herself with the energy of a car salesman. She tells him they'll be partners for an important mission. The game master, Seiha, doesn't even blink. He just keeps gaming like his life depends on it. He looks up, and in one look with zero expression, he disregards her like she was a piece of weed in a weed fam.
Damn!
She tries to remind him that the Black Lambs were the first to defeat the dimensional monsters, hoping that'll impress him. Instead, the game master, Seiha, shrugs it off like a spoilt brat and says that's exactly why he doesn't want to join. He's got no interest in fighting for humanity. He just wants to live his boring life in peace. She calls him a selfish, lazy coward, and this sparked a plug in his emotions, and this does not get him to join, just so you know. This just makes him grab her by the hand and tell her to leave him alone because from the onset, he never signed up for this stuff. Back at Union HQ, Sully the Clown takes charge of the Dimension Court in New Seoul. She's joined by Kim Yoo-jung, a builder agent, and Lee Bitna, a tech expert with a body that makes the game master Seiha forget how to blink. Lee says her uniform was messed up, but damn, that thing she's putting on will definitely be the reason why the Game Master agrees to join their team. When they meet, Bitna brags about her latest invention, a virtual reality device that will blow your mind away, and I think at this point, any VR that connects my nerves and consciousness to it, I don't think I want to mess around with it, please. Sully the Clown, trying to act smart, pretends she knows all about it. Bitna is actually impressed, but Sully the Clown and her team can't use the device yet because their only phase power user just rejected them like a bad Tinder date. Yuri tells Sully how she's been trying to convince the Game Master for a very long time, but he never agrees. The Game Master Seiha, meanwhile, has been traumatized by his powers since childhood. He doesn't want them, doesn't want to fight, and definitely doesn't want to be part of a team. And everyone in the town didn't bother to play with the little kid with the powers of a 100 years adventurer. Back at the Union, Sully is strapped into the VR machine and slowly the machine launched, but that's when things went haywire. At the same time they were launching the VR machine, somewhere, a box was counting down and it shot a beam to the sky that opened a portal. Creepy gremlins with swords start raining like cats and dogs. Immediately, Sully was fully immersed in the VR world. These tiny gremlins started messing with a power plant. That causes the power supply to cease for a while. Britta says it's no big deal because the backup power supply should run up. You'd think all is well, but immediately the backup power generator comes up, we start seeing red, noticing that Sully's life might be in danger. Yuri says to force Sully out of the VR world, but we all know that would turn her into a psychiatric patient. They realize that it's the gremlins that are beating up the power generator into bad shape. Immediately, they start looking for closers to close the lives of those gremlins as soon as possible. And since the Union isn't giving up on recruiting the Game Master, they got desperate and called him again, basically begging him to help just this once. The Game Master Seiha, being the king of indifference, doesn't give an answer as he's on the phone with Yuri. It's an agent from Union, Ran Sunwoo, who's been sent to drag him to the mission whether he likes it or not. As soon as the Game Master agrees, we see him on a bike, and the rider is enjoying the fact that Seiha might be blown away if he mistakenly lets go of her. It's always those power bike riders and no one else. Union is in chaos. Sully the clown, who was supposed to be using the VR device for training, is now stuck in another dimension. The power has gone out, the network crashed, and they completely lost connection with her. She, on the other hand, feels like a hologram, unable to communicate with anyone. Back at HQ, Bitna and Yujung are freaking out. After running some tests, they realize the dimensional monsters have messed up the power plant, causing the blackout. There's no history of waves being detected, and no closers are nearby to help. He nearly dies from the ride alone and pukes his guts out when they stop. Ran casually points out the power plant across the road like nothing happened. Just like the prodigy he is, he gets into battle and starts cutting through monsters like he's speedrunning a video game. Flames burst around him as he fights, and all he's thinking about is dragging Sully the clown's helpless self out of this mess. He slams his sword into a generator, causing a massive surge of energy that short-circuits the entire mess. Cut to the hospital. Sully the clown is unconscious, lying in bed like a damsel in distress. Bitna is practically throwing herself at the Game Master Seiha, thanking him over and over. The Game Master Seiha, who just wants to go home, looks like he's about to jump out of a window to escape the attention. Sully the clown finally realizes the Game Master Seiha was the one who saved her, and Yujung tells her to thank him. Not that the Game Master Seiha cares, he's already back to his usual nonsense. The final scene shows him gaming again while Sully the clown, now paired with him, is ready to explode with frustration. Late at night, Sully the clown wakes up sweating like she just ran a marathon in her sleep, probably because her brain decided to play a horror movie starring her childhood trauma. In this nightmare, she was playing the violin all peacefully, like some refined aristocrat from a historical drama, when out of nowhere, a creepy black light swallowed her whole, and instead of waking up gracefully like an anime protagonist, she's sitting there with raccoon tear eye bags and a look of pure existential dread. No way is she going back to sleep. She turns on the news, expecting the usual nonsense, and oh look, another disaster. A mysterious explosion rocked Gangnam District, killing 8 people and injuring a whole lot more. The news anchors are acting all serious, but let's be real, they probably don't know anything either. Sully the clown lives in a high-floor apartment for that fresh air, but no amount of oxygen is fixing the bad vibes tonight. The police are apparently investigating, but the survivors are all giving the same useless answer. They don't remember a thing. Classic. Some geniuses are already screaming about dimensional monsters, like they've been watching too much Neon Genesis Evangelion. Meanwhile, Union, the so-called protectors of society, are doing their usual routine of standing around looking important while accomplishing absolutely nothing. At this point, they might as well be background NPCs. Sully the clown, already on edge, turns off the TV before she loses any more brain cells. The Game Master Seiha is sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Bitna and Yujung are actually being useful, watching the monitors like responsible people. Bitna finally managed to fix the training program, which is impressive considering how much these things tend to break. Yujung, always the perfectionist, notes that the program adapts much faster now when used against monsters. Sully the clown is barely paying attention until she notices an unfamiliar face on the screen. Yujung introduces the girl as Sully the Pest, a national kendo champion before her phase power awakened. And now, she's an absolute menace to the training monsters. She shoots, she slashes, she moves like she's in Demon Slayer, except without the unnecessary monologues about honor and destiny. Sully the clown watches in shock. Since when did Union have people who were actually good at their jobs? Sully the Pest finishes her training, wakes up from the simulation, and immediately spots the Game Master Seiha. And instead of ignoring him like a sane person, she greets him with a bright smile. Then she turns to Sully the clown and out of nowhere compliments her perfume. Yujung lets Sully the Pest leave, but not before throwing in some more praise. Turns out Sully the Pest wants to be an official agent, but because she wants government-level benefits. The girl just wants a nice house and a car. Priorities. Now it's Sully the clown's turn for training, and after that it's supposed to be the Game Master Seiha's turn. Supposed to be. Because let's be honest, he's probably going to disappear like a magician before his training even starts. Sully the Clown steps into the training arena and activates her phase power, ready to prove herself. Yu-jung comments that her control has improved, which is a miracle considering her stress levels. Then she casually asks Sully the Clown what she thinks of Sully the Pest as a friend. Sully the Clown, who was not prepared for a friendship quiz, just stares at her like she's been asked to solve calculus on the spot. On her way home, Sully the Clown spots Sully the Pest coming out of a store, struggling with a bag of groceries. And because social interactions are her weakness, she hesitates before awkwardly walking over to help. Sully the Pest, being the effortlessly cool person that she is, just starts casually chatting. She says that life at Union is way better than struggling alone. No kidding. She's aiming to be an official agent because once again, she's got her eyes on those government-tier perks. They talk about their phase powers, and Sully the Pest casually mentions that she actually wanted to watch Sully the Clown's training session earlier, but had to leave to cook for her younger brothers. Sully the Pest then offers Sully the Clown some samgyeopsal. Still, never one to turn down a free meal, she agrees and follows Sully the Pest home, mentally preparing herself for whatever insane level of responsibility this girl handles daily. When they arrive, Sully the Clown is immediately greeted by two identical little gremlins. The second they see Sully the Pest, they sprint toward her with the energy of shonen protagonists in their first tournament arc, completely ignoring Sully the Clown as if she's just background scenery. Sully the Clown, who has the nurturing skills of a broken vending machine, just stands there stiffly while the twins stare at her like she's an otherworldly being that should not exist in their realm. While awkwardly standing there, Sully the Clown's eyes wander to a family picture on the wall. The room itself is a war zone, toys scattered everywhere like a battlefield after a particularly intense mecha fight. The twins, still pretending Sully the Clown is an invisible ghost haunting their home, start running around in circles as if testing how much destruction two tiny humans can cause. One of the twins, clearly channeling his inner shonen protagonist, tripping over thin air like a minor antagonist in a badly animated fight scene. Sully the Clown activates her phase power. The kid stops mid-air, hovering inches above the ground in a moment so dramatic it deserves its own slow-motion replay. One of the twins, having the survival instincts of a horror movie side character, reaches out and yanks at her necklace. Sully the Clown, completely panicking, immediately drops everything and books it out of there like a cowardly sidekick abandoning the main cast at the first sign of trouble. The next day, something strange happens. Sully the Clown and Sully the Pest are noticeably closer. Even Nick, the king of not noticing anything unless it directly affects his comfort, raises an eyebrow and wonders when this unlikely friendship even happened. Meanwhile, in a completely different setting, we cut to a bank, where an older gray-haired man is staring at his bank account like he's just realized he spent his entire life savings on gacha pulls. At Union HQ, Yu-jung storms into the chief's office like a shonen protagonist about to start a fight she can't win. She's fuming because the Black Lambs, a team full of reckless kids who treat life-or-death battles like a school field trip, are being sent into battle against dimensional monsters. The chief, who clearly stopped caring about everything years ago, barely looks up from his paperwork. He waves her off like she's an annoying side quest and tells her there's an even bigger threat coming, something worse than she can imagine. Yu-jung, already one bad decision away from flipping his desk, clenches her fists. Union is short on people, so they don't have the luxury of choosing a competent team. Translation: they're throwing these kids into danger and hoping for the best, just like every irresponsible anime organization ever. The chief tries to reassure her. The team won't be alone, they'll have backup from an experienced fighter. Meanwhile, in the male training center, if you can even call it that, a bunch of guys are pretending to train while actually just playing volleyball. Some are lying on the floor like they've just run a marathon, even though they've done absolutely nothing. It's basically an episode of Haikyuu ! The Game Master Seiha and Han, the two biggest slackers in the room, are glued to their consoles, completely ignoring the concept of training. The Game Master Seiha glances up and sees Sully the Pest watching them through the window. Last time she froze mid-simulation, forcing Bitna to reset the program like a teacher dealing with a kid who crashed the school computer. Bitna figures she's just overtraining, burning herself out. Like that's an excuse for suddenly fighting like a low-tier NPC. Just then, Jay enters the control room like he's in the wrong anime. Bitna, ever suspicious, immediately questions how this random man got in. She doesn't know him, but he's acting way too comfortable like an uninvited character in a crossover episode. Jay ignores her and keeps watching the training, because why not? The real reason Sully the Pest is off her game? She was unfairly disqualified from the kendo tournament, and she hasn't recovered from the humiliation. She probably had one of those dramatic anime moments where she stood in the rain, clenching her fist. Meanwhile, the Game Master Seiha, fresh from doing nothing, walks up to her and tries to cheer her up. He tells her not to miss the next tournament. Sully the Pest, still sulking, explains that she got hit in the head during a match, and it messed her up. She then asks how the Game Master Seiha felt when he found out he was a closer. The Game Master Seiha, being the human equivalent of a blank screen, says he doesn't remember. He was just a kid when it happened. Sully the Pest, tired of his nonsense, makes the wise decision to leave before she loses more brain cells. Out of nowhere, Jay approaches the Game Master Seiha and starts giving him life advice. The Game Master Seiha is not interested. Jay doesn't care. He suggests that the Game Master Seiha should help Sully the Pest get over her problems. The Game Master Seiha, confused as always, has no idea how to help. Jay, clearly regretting all his life choices that led him to this conversation, suggests he invite Sully the Pest to train with him. He insists it's the best solution. He also tells the Game Master Seiha to stop being an idiot and help his friends when they're struggling. Then he disappears into the night like a discount superhero. Later that night, the Game Master Seiha is in his room, completely ignoring the advice he just got. He's busy playing his favorite game instead of thinking about anything important. This is why protagonists like him always need other people to solve their problems. At Union's control room, Bitna is setting up a new program while the Game Master Seiha sits there, still playing his game. He's not helping. He's not offering advice. He's just existing. The next day at the academy, the Game Master Seiha actually does something useful, which is rare. He approaches Sully the Pest, who's staring at the kendo training setup like it personally offended her entire bloodline. He invites her to follow him. They walk into a dark training room that suddenly transforms into a kendo training site. Sully the Pest, now completely lost, has no idea what's happening. She looks around like a side character who just realized she accidentally walked into the final boss fight. The Game Master Seiha doesn't explain. He just tells her to prepare herself. This is an advanced simulation and they're about to train together. The Game Master Seiha immediately regrets this decision. He was hoping to offer emotional support from the sidelines, not actually fight. He's not sure if his skills are good enough to face Sully the Pest. Spoiler, they aren't. Sully the Pest, however, is fully in her element. She starts attacking him, and the Game Master Seiha quickly realizes he's in trouble. He draws his sword, which glows blue. Sully the Pest's sword glows red. Now it looks like they're about to recreate a terrible bootleg version of a Star Wars fight. They clash, their glowing blades creating an epic light show. Sully the Pest finds it exciting. The Game Master Seiha finds it terrifying. In the control room, Sully the Clown watches them with a smile. Sully the Pest, ever the strategist, stops attacking aggressively. She starts waiting for the right moment, letting the Game Master Seiha waste his energy. Then in one swift move, she knocks his sword out of his hand and smacks him right on the head. The Game Master Seiha stands there, absolutely stunned. He just got humiliated in front of everyone. He immediately demands a rematch, unable to accept his defeat. Sully the Pest, smirking like a villain who knows they're untouchable, agrees. Back in the control room, Jay walks in, surprising everyone. Yu-jung formally introduces him to the team and drops the bombshell. Jay is officially joining them. Sully the Pest and the Game Master Seiha, this random old guy who appeared out of nowhere, is now their teammate. The Game Master Seiha and Sully the Pest exchange looks. They have no idea how to handle this man. In the classroom, Sully the Clown is the center of attention. Everyone is whispering about the new transfer student. Some are amazed by her round blue eyes and bright pink hair, while others are more impressed that she graduated from Union College. The Game Master Seiha, however, couldn't care less, playing a game like he's got nothing better to do. A message pops up in the group chat, announcing a special training session later that afternoon. Unlike their usual VR simulations, this time they'll be training in a real location. Sully the Clown tells the Game Master Seiha about it, but he barely reacts, probably because training sounds like work, and work is his greatest enemy. Sully the Pest, on the other hand, is beyond excited. She's finally going to use a real gun. If that doesn't scream potential future problem, nothing does. Later that afternoon, The Game Master Seha, Sully the Clown, and Sully the Pest arrive at the training site. Suddenly, Jay the Old Man's voice echoes through the building, scaring the life out of them. Turns out, he arrived before them and is now chilling upstairs like some final boss waiting for his theme music to kick in. He explains that the supermarket was once attacked by monsters, and instead of fixing it, they just turned it into a training ground. Classic union laziness. Why solve a problem when you can just pretend it never happened? The training is a test to see if they're ready for real combat. And guess what? Jay the Old Man himself is their examiner. The Game Master Seha, the unmatched coward with way too much confidence, is the first to move. He charges ahead without a plan. Sully the Pest, seeing an opportunity to shoot things, follows right behind him, guns blazing. She's basically trying to speedrun her way into being useless. Sully the Clown, being the only person with a functioning brain, tries to tell them to slow down and strategize. Of course, they ignore her completely. What is strategy anyway, if not just another way to delay failure? They're attacking like they think this is a shonen anime where shouting makes you stronger. The Game Master Seha even tries to pull off a flashy sword move like he's Kirito, but the only thing he manages to cut is his own dignity. Meanwhile, Sully the Pest is shooting like accuracy is optional, and Sully the Clown looks like she's questioning why she even showed up. Jay the Old Man isn't just dodging, he's playing with them like a cat toying with clueless mice. At this point, he might as well be dancing between their attacks while humming his own battle theme. In an instant, he disarms them, swiping their weapons like candy from a baby. Sully the Clown is furious. She turns to the Game Master Seha and yells at him for not listening to her. They try again, but Jay the Old Man is still too fast. He dodges everything with the ease of a man who has been doing this for years. Worse, he starts mocking them. He laughs at their pathetic attempts and tells them their teamwork is garbage. The Game Master Seha crashes to the ground, landing directly on Sully the Clown. Then Sully the Clown, disgusted beyond belief, uses her power to shove him off like he's a dirty sock. Meanwhile, Sully the Pest is left to fight Jay the Old Man alone. The fight isn't over yet, but at this rate, their chances of winning are looking worse than Yamcha's in any Dragon Ball fight. He moves so fast that they can barely keep up, like he just activated Ultra Instinct. The Game Master Seha lunges at him again, but Jay the Old Man dodges with zero effort, as if the Game Master Seha isn't even worth fighting. Jay the Old Man lets go and walks away, shaking his head like a disappointed anime sensei. Sully the Clown, she sends out a wave of fire, and then time runs out. Jay the Old Man stands up, dusts himself off, and laughs. He tells them they lost. The Game Master Seha looks ready to throw himself off the building. Then, with one last insult about their skills, he disappears. Sully the Clown runs ahead, yelling at the Game Master Seha to help Sully the Pest trick Jay the Old Man. The Game Master Seha, the unmatched coward, tries but immediately fails. Jay the Old Man, with his sharp reflexes, dodges the Game Master Seha's clumsy attack, making him stumble like a fool. Sully the Clown, seeing an opportunity, launches an attack of her own, but Jay the Old Man reads her moves like a children's book. Even when Sully the Clown and Sully the Pest try a joint attack, then, just to show off, he kicks a giant fireball at them. The three barely escape. Sully the Clown is fuming. She's annoyed at Sully the Pest and the Game Master Seha for their terrible communication, and honestly, their skills aren't helping either. Sully the Clown, tired of his constant belittling, finally speaks up. Jay the Old Man just smirks and calls her bossy. He says she treats the Game Master Seha and Sully the Pest like her personal servants instead of teammates. He then points out that her leadership skills are terrible. She doesn't consider their strengths and weaknesses. Before anyone can say more, an alarm rings. A monster has appeared in their training ground. The sensor goes off, and a flying creature zooms through the corridor. He suggests running, but Sully the Clown refuses. She identifies the monster as a B-rank creature, meaning it can summon weaker ones through the gate. If they don't stop it now, the whole place will be swarming with monsters. Sully the Clown quickly forms a plan. The Game Master Seha and Sully the Pest will distract the monster, while she and Jay the Old Man will lure it outside and finish it off in an open area. Everyone agrees. The Game Master Seha starts by provoking the monster, dodging its attacks, while Sully the Pest fires at it from the side. The monster screeches and retaliates, swinging its claws wildly. Neither side is backing down. Jay the Old Man and Sully the Clown prepare the final attack, When the monster gets close enough, Sully the Clown uses her power to summon an entire bus and slams it into the creature. The impact is massive. The monster screeches one last time before collapsing. It's over. Everyone stares in shock. Even Jay the old man is impressed. Meanwhile, back at Union HQ, Yu-jung is panicking. She's not sure if sending the Black Lambs to Jiangnan for battle is a good idea. The next day, Sully the Pest is ecstatic. She rushes into the classroom, showing off their brand new uniforms. Wearing them means they are officially agents. She grabs the Game Master Seiha and Sully the Clown, dragging them into a celebration. One of their classmates, who secretly has a crush on Sully the Clown, offers to take the picture for them. An aircraft soars through the clouds, slicing through the sky like it's got somewhere important to be, unlike the idiots on the ground who are about to make a mess of everything. Inside the aircraft, Detective Misteltein, a girl who clearly thinks she's the main character, is glued to her tablet. She scrolls through the latest news about the police cleaning up another monster attack. Meanwhile, at ground level, chaos is brewing. Sonini, the sneaky gremlin, lurks behind Kayuman, who is actually trying to do something productive for once. He's setting up a robot for battle, adjusting programs with full concentration. But Sonini, being the absolute menace she is, has no respect for hard work. Instead of helping, she just watches, enjoying the destruction she's caused. Kayuman mutters something under his breath about how he should have joined a normal team instead of this band of lunatics. Song Yuni, the only person actually doing something useful, has been working for hours preparing training exercises for the new recruits. She finally finishes setting up the program and calls the team to load the tools into the helicopter. Then she tells Youngman to stop looking like a sweaty disaster and clean himself up. In a rare moment of self-awareness, she apologizes to the Black Lambs for making them wait. Just then, Yuni's tablet beeps with urgent news. A horde of monsters has been detected near the subway, but of course, the Game Master Seiha is still staring at his stupid game, ignoring the world. Sully the Clown, already fed up, uses her power to snatch the console right out of his hands. When they reach the subway, it's already a disaster. The Game Master Seiha, being as lazy as possible, hops from building to building like a cat that doesn't really want to be outside. As he gets closer, he sees a massive traffic jam. Then he spots something incredibly stupid. A mysterious figure in a black suit and red scarf stands dramatically on a rooftop. Before he can get an answer, the man suddenly unleashes his power, attacking the Game Master Seiha without warning. The man doesn't let up. He launches another attack, then another. The Game Master Seiha is struggling to keep up. Now, instead of saving some random civilian, the Game Master Seiha realizes he's stuck in a fight he didn't sign up for. He can't move, can't fight, and worst of all, can't even scream properly. Elsewhere, Yuni and Yu-jung prepare to fly out in their helicopter. Meanwhile, the Black Lambs are still standing around, waiting for the Game Master Seiha. They push through the ridiculous traffic, searching the area around the subway, but the Game Master Seiha is nowhere to be found. Sully the Clown tries calling him. Nothing. The Game Master Seiha being held hostage, the bandaged man, hearing the phone ring, smirks and gets ready to welcome the uninvited guests. Then, through the communicator, they hear a scream. The Game Master Seiha's scream. Sully the Clown doesn't waste a second. She speeds toward the location with Sully the Pest and Jay the Old Man right behind her. But just as they get close, a sudden burst of wind stops them, the bandaged man already expecting them. A massive, violent beast named Marek. Jay the Old Man's face drops. He recognizes this thing, and he knows they're in trouble. Sully the Clown, unfazed, quickly forms a plan. They need to spread out their attacks. Meanwhile, Yuni and Yu-jung, now aware of the situation, rush to assist. They also contact the central office demanding backup. Jay the Old Man and Sully the Clown launch an attack on the monster, while Sully the Pest tries to distract it from above. The beast roars and chases Sully the Pest through the air. Jay the Old Man takes the opportunity to strike from behind, throwing powerful attacks in every direction. But this thing is tough. Nothing seems to work. Sully the Clown and Sully the Pest, refusing to give up, push harder. From their helicopter, Yu-jung and Uni watch in horror. 3 people versus a giant monster? It's a disaster. Where the hell is the Game Master Seiha? Then finally they see him, being held hostage by the bandaged man. But the bandaged man, already anticipating this, raises a shield blocking all incoming attacks. On the ground, Sully the Clown, Sully the Pest, and Jay the Old Man look up. Meanwhile, inside the aircraft, Mistletoe is busy messing with her gadget, but something feels off. Her instincts kick in. There's a monster nearby. Without hesitation, she jumps out of the plane, sending the guards into a full-blown panic. Back in the battle, the Black Lambs shift their focus. Sully the Clown, Sully the Pest, and Jay the Old Man try to assist the helicopter team against the Bandaged Man. A powerful force slams into the monster's head. Detective Mistletoe has arrived. The Bandaged Man, realizing he's outnumbered, doesn't stick around. He vanishes, escaping into the shadows. Back at Union, Yu-jung begins investigating their enemies. The team is trying to find out everything about Marek and the mysterious Bandaged Man. They dig through files, scan energy readings, and search databases, but nothing. The Bandaged Man's identity is a complete mystery. The only thing they're sure of is that he summoned Marek to attack the Game Master, Seha, and the team. Detective Mistletoe walks in, casually greeting Yu-jung before whispering something to her. Everyone else leaves the room except for Yu-jung and Jay the Old Man. Jay the Old Man, always ready to complain, starts roasting Union. Meanwhile, Special Forces are analyzing Marek's existence. Their research shows that Marek will likely reappear at Central Crossroads. To prepare, Union has already deployed guards and set up several dimensional monster detectors. This news only makes Yu-jung more frustrated. Protecting those detectors is the Black Lamb's job, and she hates that they have to rely on external forces. Detective Mistletoe, standing confidently like she owns the place, is revealed to have insane power and weapons similar to the Closers. Yu-jung explains their plan, predicting where Marek will appear and assigning roles. Sully the Clown, always the overthinker, looks worried, but Yu-jung reassures her that if they follow orders, they'll be fine. The Game Master Seha, the unmatched coward, suddenly stands up and questions Yu-jung. He points out that the Bandaged Man summoned Marek and that Yu-jung failed to track him. Jay the Old Man tries to calm him down, defending Yu-jung by saying she must have a plan. But the Game Master Seha, still annoyed, isn't satisfied and storms out like a dramatic teenager. Yu-jung stays in front of the monitors, keeping an eye on the city. Soon, multiple monsters appear at crowded locations. She alerts the Black Lambs, who are all connected to the same communication line. Everyone gets into position? Well, almost everyone. The Game Master Seha, proving once again why he's useless, is sitting in the corner playing his game. He doesn't even pretend to care about the mission. Jay the Old Man, watching him act like a lazy slug, decides to talk to him. He reminds the Game Master Seha that if they take down Marek, they'll have a better chance of tracking the Bandaged Man. The rest of the team joins in, encouraging the Game Master Seha to stop being a loser and actually help. Finally, after much whining, the Game Master Seha puts his game console away, grabs his sword, and stands up. Just then, a new alert pops up. A dimensional monster is emerging from a gate. But this time, it's worse than expected. A massive, even bigger monster steps out. Detective Mistletoe, without hesitation, steps forward. She pulls out her holy gun and fires the first shot. In the control room, Yu-jung cranks up the suppressors to max power, forcing Marek to retreat. The dimensional gate flickers before finally shutting down. The team barely has a second to breathe before another alert flashes. The Bandaged Man steps out in front of Jay the Old Man. Jay the Old Man immediately recognizes him. Without hesitation, he swings at him, but the Bandaged Man blocks it effortlessly. The team panics. Nobody is getting a response from Jay the Old Man. The Bandaged Man doesn't stop there. He appears before Sully the Pest and knocks her down like she's nothing. Then he moves to Sully the Clown, who is more than ready to fight, but she gets humiliated just as quickly. Finally, he stands before the Game Master Seha. The Game Master Seha, the unmatched coward, feels the pressure. He grips his sword and attacks with everything he has. Mistletoe, watching from a distance, senses something is wrong. Before she can act, another dimensional gate opens right in front of her. Marek steps out, its massive form casting a shadow over the battlefield. Without hesitation, Marek lunges at Mistletoe. She dodges, retaliating with her power, but something is off. Marek is getting stronger, adapting to her attacks. The Bandaged Man observes the battle, ready to interfere. Just as he makes his move, Jay the Old Man suddenly reappears, stopping him. Turns out, Jay the Old Man managed to free himself thanks to some additional devices. He wastes no time questioning the Bandaged Man's intentions. However, before he can get any answers, he notices Misteltein being chased by Marek. He immediately rushes to help her. Unfortunately, before he can do much, the bandaged man attacks him from behind, knocking him down once again. Yu-jung quickly gives out new orders. The special forces are instructed to fire piercing shells directly at Marek's head. Jay the old man seizes the opportunity. He unleashes a barrage of attacks, landing a final blow that sends Marek crashing down. At the same time, Jay the old man collapses. His body, exhausted from the battle, shuts down. Medics rush in, carrying him to the hospital. The Black Lambs, who were knocked unconscious earlier, slowly regain their senses. Their first question, what happened? Their second question, did Yu-jung finally figure out the bandaged man's identity? But Yu-jung remains silent. Instead of answering, she stares at Jay the old man, who is now hooked up to several machines, barely holding on. One thing is clear, this fight is far from over. If you enjoyed watching this amazing video, hit the like and the subscribe button. Let's find out how this fight will eventually end.